This is the next episode of my series about my experience with my first dual sport, which is not a dual sport, by the way. I'll get into that in a minute. And so for my last video, I presented that I purchased a Husqvarna FE501S, the street version. And that I was considering the Honda 300L, like everybody else, but they're not available, and I just decided to get this. I don't have experience with off-road bikes, so I'm just going to dive right in. This is going to be my point of reference, this 501S. So I went through the owner's manual. Just kind of skimmed through it, actually, last night. And a couple things I want to point out, again, for all you people that are experienced dual sport riders, off-road bike riders, you know all this. This is for people like me who have road bike experience, and this is their first experience after years and years of attempting to do any type of dual sport or off-road riding or whatever. Don't know where to start, don't know the difference between these bikes. And one of the things I want to point out that is now resonating with me a little bit, what the hell is a dual sport bike anyway? It's a marketing term, that's what it is. And a lot of things are called dual sport bikes. It's debatable what one even is. What's a supermoto? What's a dual sport? What's an adventure? Whatever. So to start there and end there for this very short video, is this thing that I purchased is I'm going to call a plated off-road bike as opposed to a dual sport. So a dual sport I am going to define as a bike not only can you take on and off the road because it's street legal, it is characteristics about the bike resemble some characteristics of road bikes. And the first one is with this bike that I bought, it does not resemble characteristics of a road bike. So that's why I'm not calling it a dual sport. And more specifically, the maintenance schedule, and I knew this, people had mentioned this, is the Husqvarna 501S. It is a plated off-road bike, and the maintenance intervals are very short, which is characteristic of off-road bikes. It's a 30-mile break-in, you change the oil, clean the oil screens, and then from that point on, it's roughly 550 miles. That's not a lot because it's an off-road bike that has a license plate on it. The Honda 300L is more of a true dual sport, whatever that term means, and it has more road bike characteristics in terms of the maintenance schedule. It has, I think, and I just told you this, I had to write it down, it has a 600-mile break-in period, and you change the oil every 8,000 miles. I mean, that's like a road bike, or every year. So that's like a road bike like the big BMW I have over there. That's every 6,000 miles, or every year. And so if you're coming from a big adventure bike, a road bike perspective, just be aware, if you want to venture into these off-road-ish, dual sport, whatever these things are, they'll look a little close. I mean, it's neither here nor there. It's not one's better than the other. It's that it's hard to categorize these bikes, and just because somebody randomly calls a bike a dual sport, what does that mean? You need to check this stuff out. So I'm going to start using the term dual sport to represent a bike like the Honda 300L, which has characteristics that resemble more of a road bike, like the maintenance interval. Every 8,000 miles, you change the oil. That's great. And I'm going to consider the bike like the Honda 450 and the Husqvarna FE501S, which is what I have, a plated dirt bike, is because the characteristics are more dirt bike-ish. The maintenance schedules are much more aggressive. My bike, this bike I just bought, every 550 miles you change the oil. The engine's working harder. It's a higher performance engine. There's a little less oil than the Honda 300L. And the same with the Honda 450. It's a bigger engine. It's working harder. You're probably in harsher environments if you're using it the way it was meant to be. So the maintenance intervals are going to be a lot less. So just bear that in mind. They're apples and oranges. So I'm about ready now to take this bike out, this bad boy, for the very, 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 very first time. I'm only going to be in the neighborhood on the street. I don't want to take it too far because I only have 30 miles before I have to take it back to the dealer. But I'm not taking it on dirt today because there's no dirt trails where I live. I'd have to trailer the bike over there. So let me turn this around. So I'm going to take this outside, and then we're going to see how it goes. My very first experience on a plated dirt bike of any type. Well, that's a lie. I had a motocross bike in 1996 for 3 months, and it wasn't my thing. But that was a completely different bike too. So let's just see how it goes, and I'll post that in a separate video.